I want to thank everybody for coming today. It's delighted to have you here. In January, I challenged the Kansas legislature to take on an agenda focused on job growth and prosperity for our people. The first decade of the 21st century, unfortunately, was a lost decade for the state of Kansas. From 2000 to 2010, we lost tens of thousands of private sector jobs and thousands of our citizens we lost to lower tax states. At the same time, government grew in Kansas, costing hardworking Kansans more of their paycheck. Now, the certain thing is, if we had stayed on the path we were on, we would get the same results we had been getting. More Kansans leaving for brighter futures elsewhere. The era of ever-expanding government had to come to an end. My administration set an ambitious agenda. Our first 17 months in office have brought significant accomplishments to this state. Kansas has gone from a projected budget deficit of $500 million when I took office to nearly $500 million cash in the bank, and that's a fact. And I want to thank the legislators here really for that accomplishment in their budgeting. We've moved more than 98% of our Medicaid population towards a patient-centered system which will reduce bureaucracy, improve outcomes, and save hundreds of millions of taxpayer dollars. And nobody has been cut off of Medicaid. We put our public employees' retirement system on its soundest footing in a generation. We put tens of millions more dollars towards public education. We've enacted fundamental changes in our water laws to extend the life of the Ogallala Aquifer. We expanded the protected area of the Flint Hills to maintain them as the last stand of the tallgrass prairie, while at the same time, Kansas became #1 in America for new wind energy development. A major oil resource play, the Mississippi limestone, is developing in our state, with major oil companies from around the world investing in Kansas. And we soon will have a new, bold course in our state tax policy based on the people's ability to work, invent, and create, not the government's ability to tax and redistribute. I want to thank the Kansas legislature for their efforts in this session. Now, many called the 2012 agenda that Jeff Collier and I put forward as overly ambitious, but the legislature responded with historic accomplishments. Now, all major policy changes, just like changes in life, are met with understandable criticisms and skepticisms. But let me say clearly, we will meet the needs of our schools and our most vulnerable, and our roads will get built. Now, when Ronald Reagan cut taxes in the early 80s, many people called the tax cuts too big, too bold, too expensive. But those cuts ignited an era of prosperity in America. By enacting them, Reagan showed his faith, but not in the government. It was in the American people. Reagan proved that given a bit of economic freedom and opportunity, the American people would accomplish things no government program could ever imagine. And they did. My faith is in the people of Kansas, not its government. I believe the people will do incredible things. Today's legislation will create tens of thousands of new jobs and help to make Kansas the best place in America to start and grow a small business. And if I could say just as a quick aside here, this has been a difficult legislative session, and I again thank the legislators that are here for all their accomplishments and for being willing to come back into town one more time when I'm sure their instincts were all going, no, I'm staying away for a good period of time. After one of the sessions, and it was difficult, I was driving out of the parking lot here in my Kansas-made car, and a guy was walking in front of me, and he saw that it was me, and he looked back and he yelled at me and he said, "We need jobs." And I thought, that's what this is all about. This is about jobs. This is about private sector creating of jobs. It's about the fundamental private sector job creating machine, which is small business, and taking the tax off of that and unleashing it to grow and create the jobs that this man was yelling for and that we need for our citizens. So with that, I'm going to sign this bill. I'm excited about the prospects for it, and I'm very thankful that how God has blessed our state. And I pray that He continues to do so.